Welcome back to part 3 of planning a pizza party with a spreadsheet. In this video we are going to add all of the lovely ingredients that we need to make our pizzas and work out how many of each ingredient that we need to buy and how much they are going to cost. So when you decompose a pizza you have two key parts. You've got the base and you've got the topping. Now what we can do with the base here is we can use this, what's called the fill handle. This is the little square in the bottom corner of the cell. Click on that, drag it down, and it will automatically populate the cells. How cool is that? Saves us some typing. We can do the same with each of the topping ingredients as well. So using the fill handle, again, click and drag. Right, that's it for the different parts. We need to know the actual ingredients. This will make more sense in a moment if you're a little bit confused. Don't worry. So for example, self-raising flour, right, back in 2 ticks. That's it for the ingredients. That was quick, wasn't it? A little bit of cheating going on my half this side. I didn't really type it that quickly. We need to know the quantity per pizza that we need, or per portion. So I'm going to put in those, and I'm also going to put in the unit, but I'm going to do that in a different cell. The reason why is because when it comes to doing calculations, let me just show you up here. If I just put 150g, short for 150 grams, and then say I want to multiply that by 2, I get a value error because the computer doesn't understand what this g means in here. But as soon as I just type in 150, then the calculation will work. So that's why I have separated out the value from the unit. Right, let me just pop those in. We can now calculate the total quantity needed, and all we need to do for that is multiply, he says, multiply the number of pizzas that we are going to make. We can either use this cell or this one, so equals, I'm going to use this one, B4 times the quantity per pizza. So altogether we are going to need 2,250 grams of self-raising flour. But look what happens when we use the fill handle. It's going to go spectacularly wrong. Ta-da! Why have I shown you that? Well, I want to show you how to use what's known as an absolute cell reference. So double click on this cell again and we can see that we're multiplying B4 by C16. And when we drag that down before, what happened is that B4 got updated to B5. C16 got updated to C17, right? But we don't want this one B4 up here to update. So all we need to fix that is, with B4 selected, press the F4 key on your keyboard. Then it adds in dollar symbols, which has got absolutely nothing to do with currency. What it does is it changes the cell reference from a relative cell address to a absolute cell address. Press enter. Now this time when I drag it down, let's see what's happened. So B4 times C16, that's right. Let's look at the next one. B4 times C17. So can you see how the relative cell address has changed, but the absolute cell address has not changed? So that's a really quick way of being able to use the fill handle and preventing all of your cell references from going in the wrong place. Now for each of the toppings it's a little bit more tricky because only, 4 people want that particular topic. So equals B8 times, and I'm going to click on 30. So the rest of these will require, don't just go with the default, this is wrong, but the rest of these will require some manual intervention, so you won't be able to use the fill handle for these. So this one times this one. I'm sure you can finish the rest of those off. Right, there we go. Now when we go shopping we can't buy exactly 2.25 kilograms of self-raising flour. We need to know the pack size, the standard pack size. So I happen to know that if I go to the shops and buy a bag of self-raising flour, that the pack size is 1.5 kilograms, which is the same as 1,500 grams. So I need to enter the pack size data for our ingredients. That's what I'm going to do now. I can now work out how many packs we are going to need. So packs needed is going to simply be equals total quantity needed divided by pack size. So we're going to need 1.5 bags of flour. Problem there, we can't go into a shop and just buy 1.5 bags of flour. So how do we fix it? Round it up, I hear you cry, hopefully. Can you remember how to do that from the first video? Hopefully you can. Hopefully you remembered that we can add in the ceiling function. I'm just adding it up here, but you could also add it in the cell directly down here. So that will round it up, and then we can use our fill handle friend to do that. Wow, that was really quick. Saves us lots of work when we use that fill handle tool. Now we also need to enter the price of each item. Now prices have probably gone up a little bit since I did this, so so you might need to go on the internet and do a little bit of research and find out the latest prices for these items. Now you might have noticed that I didn't enter the pound sign. That's because if I shift and click, or we can click and drag to select these, we can just simply click on this, format as currency, and it will add the pound sign for us and not mess anything up at all. Another way of doing it is clicking on format number, then we can select British pound sterling, or if that option is hidden for some reason, you can do custom currency and select it from there. So that's the price. I should put in here price per pack to make that clear. Now we can work out the total cost for that particular ingredients, which is very simply equals, oh, it's automatically suggesting what I should put in here, and that is surprisingly correct. So press the tab key, G16 times H16, that will confirm that formula. Then I can click and drag, and it will update the total cost for me. How cool is that? Lastly, I can put in the shop URL, uniform resource location, basically the web address as to where I can buy that particular product. So I've got one open here already. Other supermarkets are available, so I can right mouse click, copy that web link, and then right mouse click, paste it in here, or you can use Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste. Right, now let's make this look a little bit more groovy. So I am going to select every cell in the spreadsheet, and I do that by clicking this box up here. Now I'm going to double click on one of these lines between the columns. That will automatically resize everything. I am going to select these, press Control-B to make them bold. Select all of this, add in some lovely borders. I could also add a little bit of colour. Don't go too over the top with colour though, because spreadsheets need to be functional, not fancy. And if you wanted to highlight some cells just to make anything particularly clear, you can do, but as I say, don't go too over the top with this. Now these cells might come in handy later on, so I'm just going to do that for the time being. Right, that is part 3. Hopefully you'll be back to join me in the final part. There's just a little bit to go to finish our pizza party planning spreadsheet. So get that done, and I look forward to joining you in part 4.